They asked me to come to the UN to speak on behalf of the Palestinian people as a representative of civil society, as a non-Palestinian person. But I said, I will be specific. I will appeal to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We were there in November of 2018, 70 years after the Nakba, 70 years after the great catastrophe, and also 70 years after the establishment of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And what I was attempting to do was say that there is a contradiction between our universal commitment to human rights ostensibly, our universal commitment to making sure that everyone has freedom and safety and self-determination and dignity, and what we see on the ground. When I'm in Khalil, when I'm in Hebron, and I'm looking at children have to go through checkpoints, and I'm looking at the ritual humiliation of being patted and searched at the age of 6 and 7. When I'm in Khan al-Ahmar, and I'm looking at this village of Bedouins, which is about to be torn down after they built schools out of tire and mud because they couldn't get permits. And I'm watching the village be torn down for the sole purpose of settlement expansion. When I'm looking on Via Della Rosa as Christians are honoring the Stations of the Cross, and at the very same moment that they look at their Savior carrying the cross, I'm looking at Palestinian children being stopped and searched and frisked in front of the Armenian hospice. I'm looking at these places. I'm looking at second-class citizenship inside of the state of Israel for African citizens and for refugees and for people seeking asylum. It's not about isolating Israel. It's about speaking the truth everywhere. So I gave the speech, and to this day, I gave a 22-minute speech and we only talk about the last 6 words. They make you scared to say them. And there was no critique of the speech or the content of the speech. Just this pretext of a critique of those last 6 words, from the river to the sea. And the question was, why use those words? When I say from the river to the sea, what I am talking about is a free, democratic, self-determined, safe, and just and equal land for everyone. People said it's from the Hamas Charter. It's also in the Likud statement of 1974, the platform statement. If you look at Twitter, Benjamin Netanyahu's son last week said that he wanted to expand the Jewish state from the river to the sea. It's just fascinating. It's fascinating who gets to use the language and who doesn't. Part of how we police speech is to decide who can have this conversation and who cannot. For me, as a black person, as an African in America, that meant that I was trying to stand in a tradition of African freedom fighters who have stood in solidarity with the Palestinian people. I'm talking about Malcolm X. I'm talking about Huey Newton. I'm talking about Angela Y. Davis. I'm talking about SNCC. I'm talking about Ethel Minor. I'm talking about all the freedom fighters who stood up and said we must stand against settler colonialism. We must be unafraid to name it. We must be unafraid to call it out. We stand in a tradition, and we will not be moved. We will not back down. We will not be silenced.